Guys is the kind of bad movie that makes me resentful on a personal level, as if the film is a living person with whom I am angry for wasting 90 minutes of my day. It is wholly oblivious to common courtesy. Common courtesy says one should not waste 90 minutes of a stranger's life. And yet here you are, stand-up guys, telling me your dull and interminable story, the one I already knew the end of the moment you opened your mouth. God forgive me, this is like being stuck in line at the DMV with an old-timer whose most exciting stories involve the occasional faux pas in the checkout line, or their cats. Stand-Up Guys, and I'm going to keep repeating the title to keep myself awake here. Stand-Up Guys follows three retired gangsters played by Al Pacino, Christopher Walken, and Alan Arkin. Pacino has just been released from prison after 28 years of keeping his mouth shut about something I don't care about and you won't either. But an old enemy has put a contract on him, and Shake, Shimmy, and Script Dr. Me Silly, the man to do the job, is his old pal Walken, the one who greets him at the gate. What do we do with this premise? We find ourselves immediately in the company of boner pill gags. We meet improbably attractive women who fawn over these old turds for no good reason. Many are hookers. The rest are daughter figures. A rape revenge subplot is crowbarred in for no good reason and would register as offensive if Stand-Up Guys was capable of plucking a single emotional chord. It drags its feet from one lame scene to the next, slogging through cliches with such disinterest it seems self-medicated. An old geezer who's wandered out of the home without the staff noticing and is pushing a walker down the highway median. Where am I? How did I get here? Does my bedpan need changing? All this leads to the most important question. Who is this movie for? Now we are at a familiar crossroads of cinema, friends. The old guard is on its way out. Pacino, Arkin, and Walken are getting old. These guys are making bank, I'm sure. Glad they're getting work. But we just saw the release of Las Vegas with Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas, Kevin Kline, and Robert De Niro in what I imagine is a film not dissimilar in mediocrity from Stand-Up Guys. And we had Escape Plan, an action or throwback starring Sylvester Stallone and former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. This December, we'll get Grudge Match with Stallone, De Niro, and Alan Arkin, and I am not making this up. It is about two retired boxers entering the ring for one last bout after the success of a video game starring their digital counterparts. Yes, you heard right. A Stallone film that rips off the plot of the final Rocky movie. That is a thing that has happened in our world. And side note, he's going to be in the ring with Robert De Niro. Now, in the 70s, the old guard of Charlton Heston, John Wayne, Dean Martin, Orson Welles, Jimmy Stewart, and so on began making the worst goddamn movies of their careers. Disaster spectacles and aging heist pictures and unfunny ensemble comedies. They, and now the likes of Pacino, Walken, and Arkin, look decrepit as Bob Hope on a USO tour of Vietnam. If that's your bag, then go with God. Me, at my most generous, I could try to call Stand-Up Guys well-meaning. At my least, I would call it lazy filmmaking. A cynical attempt by all involved to make a quick buck on the premise that a fair cross-section of suckers out there would pay $10 just to see this cast eat lunch, which, by the way, would be more interesting. Gentlemen.
By far, the best thing about this movie is you could say Stand-Up Guys starring Al Pacino, Alan Arkin, and Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
That is it.
That's it. And
it's... And I thought they stopped making these stupid fucking Pulp Fiction-esque rip-off movies. I mean, not even Pulp Fiction, but it seems like Tarantino created like this kind of like hip crime genre thing. And like we saw like Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead and Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and all this 2 Days in the Valley. All these movies. I thought they stopped making these fucking movies. Apparently, they're still making them.
There are a lot of Tarantino movies I love, but he is going to have to answer to some sort of higher power for letting the likes of Guy Ritchie have a career.
Right.
So when these, spoiler alert, if anyone still gives a shit, by the end of this film, when there's action scenes that have Christopher Walken and Al Pacino in slow motion going guns first into a drug den or something, you're just like you look ridiculous, dude. Seriously, sit down, act. What are you doing the slow motion, blazing guns bullshit for?
It's a disgrace, man.
So, Max, Joe, what did you think?
Oh, go ahead, Max.
Take it, Joe.
There's nothing that I don't think there's much more to say.
Off on each other. I don't want it. You take it.
Yeah, this thing smells like shit. You handle.
I mean, what can you say, man? I mean, it seems like a quick buck. Everything you said in your review there, man. Dude, listen, I hate doing that. I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, it's a lot of fun, I guess, to just rail against a movie and everything, but
It deserves it.
I know it
And I
does.
wouldn't say that this was just thrown together for a quick buck. I get the feeling that the actor Fisher Stevens, who directed this, really thought that he was making a slick crime drama. I really believe that.
Well, he probably listen. It probably was a script that got picked up by a producer, and the producer put a name to it. The name put another name to it, and then, it's
Okay,
one of these things. I mean, and once I like, oh, and so this guy probably was like, yeah, I'll direct it. He directed. This guy made a pretty good documentary a while back, I believe. He made a movie called oh shit, Crazy Love, which was about the case where a nutty dude threw acid into the face of someone he loved, and they ended up getting married. Like, it was a really quirky, weird documentary. He got some laurels for it, got attention, and rightfully so. It was a pretty good documentary. So the guy's it's probably like getting tossed around these LA back rooms or whatever, phone calls, poolside chats on cell phones or whatever the fuck it is. And I got this script that maybe Pacino might be interested in. So as soon as you have that, then it's like, oh, then I can maybe get Walken. And then it gets passed along. It's a product, man.
Al Pacino, the Godfather trilogy.
I know.
Scarface.
It's so
Donnie
hard to
Brasco. Carlito's
Yeah, but Robert
Way.
De Niro. Robert De Niro started clocking off these. Okay, who is?
I am tired of this phone stuff already.
That's not me this time.
That's Max.
It's Max Cook. He's taking one of those poolside cell phone calls right now.
All right, you guys, you ready for this?
Hi, is Nicole available?
Who?
Nicole LeMay.
Who's calling?
This is Monica from the Friends of the LA Philharmonic.
Oh, Monica from the Friends of the LA Philharmonica.
Yes.
Oh, honey. You call every day.
Well, someone else might.
Well, you've called me every day for a year.
Is Nicole available?
No, are you available? 'Cause I'm single, baby. Are you into panties or thongs or boxers? Hello? And that's how you deal with telemarketers in my house.
Which, by the way, is still more entertaining than stand-up guys.
It was a better joke than the Viagra jokes that were occupying the first friggin' act of this movie, man. Jesus, how did that pass? This guy who wrote this is from fucking Princeton. What the?
Yeah, this is like his first serious. He's made a couple of shorts. Look, hey man, I have no idea what goes through anyone, and I hate. It's very difficult for me actually to write that review, but to not write that would be completely disingenuous. Like.
What else are you gonna say?
And the thing is, I hate doing that because Fisher Stevens is a talented dude. Like, he does a lot of theater out here, and I just get the feeling that it's tough, man. I mean, I think that everyone probably got a pretty decent paycheck out of this, and everyone figured, it's low budget. We'll make some money off of it. It's not evil. Like, it's not an evil film. It's just.
It's just bad.
I don't know who it's
bad.
For. Like,
it's lazy.
Yeah. For some people,
lazy and it's bad.
Yeah.
And Bill,
Max,
there's nothing wrong with. We'll get Max once again. And Bill, there's nothing wrong with saying that. As a lover of film, as an artist yourself, I mean, these people need to know you're making shit. You're making a big pile of shit.
I just think there's a bunch of people who really enjoy sitting back for an hour and a half and watching these three guys.
Oh, you point me in their direction, Billy. Who would?
Roger Ebert gave this film 3.5 stars.
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah.
How is this happening?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Well, he was medicated on painkillers.
Oh.
Look, if you actually got to talk,
Pain.
look, I respect Roger Ebert probably more than any other film reviewer. You know, he's the dude I read more regularly than anybody. He was the only one I read, really.
Sure.
You know. So, but if I was sitting down with him and I would ask him, of course I would ask him why the hell he gave that movie 3.5 stars, or what the hell he was thinking. You know.
He kind of went out in a blaze of glory a little bit there, where it was like I could, I felt like, he's a personality that I felt like I'd gotten to know through his writing and everything. And the last couple of years, there was just like this sort of consistent. He was almost in love with the very act of being alive that gave him the chance to see films, I felt, and so he tended to give pretty glowing reviews to things that may not have necessarily deserved them.
Yeah. I mean, he always sought to accept movies on their own terms,
Right.
So he wasn't looking for, something really heady. But we do have Al Pacino here, actually. Al, what the hell were you
What
thinking?
were you thinking making stand-up guys, Al?
Listen to me, you three cranks. You don't know how to have any fun. First off, I got kids in school. I've got twins with the lady who is in vacation. Those twins are about to go to college. What do you think I'm doing here?
So you needed the money, Al. You needed you need the
Come
money
on.
after The Godfather, Scarface. I mean, you've been in Heat, a million great movies, and you're freaking making this shit for a payday. You don't have enough money.
Chris, let me tell you something. Them movies was 99 years ago. Okay? That was when I was a different guy. Back then, I didn't sound like I do now. Back then, I sounded like this. And it was different. And you could see the soul in my eyes. And then I made the revolution, and the soul died. Just like the soul always dies. You lose touch of reality. Artistically, I am fulfilled. And so I continue to make comfort food, as you so arrogantly deem this.
Well, Joe, it's funny.
Comfort food.
It's funny listening to Mr. Pacino because, it's so weird. This is the weird. I don't know why I'm even thinking about this, but guys like Pacino and guys like De Niro, like they would make films like once a year at the most, like 10, 20, 30 years ago.
It's something to prove.
But now Robert De Niro is popping up on cell phone commercials. Like he's got 6 movies out a year, and they're all bad.
Hey, you pizza baking fuck you. Me. I swear to fuck. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me tell you something. I'm gonna come down there. I'm gonna stick you in the oven. What do you think of that? You hear me? I'm gonna stick you in the oven. Who are you? Who are you to look at me when I look at you? You hear me? Who are you? Easy, Bob. Go easy on the guy. Fuck you. You too, you little orange troll. I swear to God. What is that, a tan? What is that, a pay-for tan? Let me tell you something. Where's Billy?
I have no idea what's going on here.
Max, how bad is this movie?
Listen, you're talking to a guy who sees everything these fuckers do because I'm that sucker. And I gotta tell you, this was infinitely better than Righteous Kill. Who's this? Oh my God, another one.
Here we go again. Enjoy this, folks.
Yes, good evening. Good evening.
Oh, they hung up.
They're out of it. All right, so what? It's better. What does that even mean, though? It's better than Righteous Kill.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just slightly better than Righteous Kill, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Better than right. Listen,
That guy punched me in the face. It was better than when he kicked me in the balls.
That's it. That's it. I watched the whole thing, and I thought Pacino and Walken had some nice chemistry.
Come on, Max. Somebody stop him before he...
And I thought it was funny that I actually took a picture of Al when he had the big bony.
You think that's funny?
And I posted it on Instagram. Yes, Tom, because it's Al Pacino lying in a hospital bed with a giant boner and a sheet.
I had a feeling you would think that was
Who wouldn't like that?
I didn't think it was funny. I was insulted by it.
It would have been funny. It probably would have been funny.
Go ahead.
You know what? It would have been funny if it was Christopher Walken.
If Christopher Walken was lying there with a boner, that would have been more fun. Listen, if you're going to talk about a catastrophic fall from grace, I let go of these fuckers years ago. It was very, very difficult. But this beats the shit out of any of these collaborations with HBO and Al Kevorkian. Really? They didn't get Jack Kevorkian at all. They didn't do it right at all. Oh my God! Did you guys see the who's the music producer that killed the Blondie?
Phil Spector.
Phil Spector? Oh my God! Slow death.
I kind of like the Kevorkian movie though, Max. No, I mean it was okay. I don't know that much about the actual man, but I thought Pacino was actually pretty good in that movie.
Pacino was great in that movie, but I'm talking about the story of Jack. I'm talking about making a. Listen, you got to get more into death, Joe.
Okay, I don't know. All right, I see.
Yeah, you got a real problem there.
I don't know that much about the guy himself. I don't know how accurate.
Yeah, you got to know about the guy. If you know about the guy, you're going to know that they screwed us on an opportunity. So look, here we are with stand-up guys. I was ready to turn it off. And this Arkin, does he have to be in everything? I was ready to turn this thing off after 10 minutes. And I got through the whole thing. And honestly, I got to say, seeing those two in suits at the end with the bullshit slow-mo guns, Blaze of Glory thing, I like that. That made me happy.
Billy, he's out of his mind.
He just wants to, like, one day, if, in his mind, he's thinking that he's going to work with them. He doesn't want to have to answer to them for saying bad things.
They're not going to ever.
I don't listen to popcasts. Ooh. I have a question about Joe and Tom's dynamic.
Whoa.
I want to know why Tom is always so mean to Joe. I want to know why Joe puts up with it. I want to know why Joe hasn't told Tom to go fuck himself.
You want to take that first, Joe?
No, I don't. Tom, go ahead. You take it. You're the leader of the show.
Joe, don't you think Tom's kind of a dick to you?
Oh God, Max! Listen, I'm going to say the same thing I said last episode where you tried to get me to spout off about society. It's way too early in the show for this, so please, I am not going to address that question right now.
But it's like if we're talking a grudge match, it almost seems like he's a little abusive to you.
Oh, how? What are you basing this on, Max?
Well, were you sincere, or were you being sarcastic, Tom, when Joe was talking about how excited he was about his Gomorrah review?
Yeah, I'm busting balls.
You're busting balls. That's all you're doing.
That's all I'm doing. I'm busting balls.
For some reason, you're so good at it.
Thank you. Like I know I am. I know, and it throws
really are,
and it throws people off. I have a problem with that. Yeah, I know, and it's been going on in my life for 20 years. I mean, they really.
So in 20 years, you haven't learned that maybe. Whoa, okay.
No, because it's me. It's who I am.
Just kidding. So it's okay for you to say, "Hey, it's who I am." But Joe, meanwhile, even after knowing you for 20 years, Joe, are you sure that he's fucking around, or?
Oh God, Max, I can't. Tom, is he really gonna? Are you gonna allow this conversation to happen?
Hold on, he sounds upset with me. He sounds like he doesn't.
Oh, I'm not upset.
Sounds like he has a little bit of insight, and it's an interesting insight. I just don't know that I want to get into this.
I was taken aback, is all I'm saying. I'm witnessing a dynamic from 3,000.
Listen, you're an astute dude. It's just that I don't know that I want to get into this, and I don't know that Tom wants to get into it.
Well, then don't get into it. So let's talk about stand-up, guys.
Let's put it this way: if I got out of jail like after 30 years, and I went to go visit Tom, my best pal, and he was like hired to be a hitman on me, I guess I would just allow him to kill me because it would make him feel better. I guess I would just put it that way because I'm such a good friend. Because I'm a good like Pacino. I'm I want to be a nice guy. And I would just let him try to kill me.
Thank you, Joe.
Tom, would you let Joe stay with you in your house after 30 years in prison?
And if it was 30 seconds from now, yes. If it was 30 years from now, yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I will say. Okay.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I was gonna say you do have a good. I mean, Max, look, you're a very bright dude, and let's just put it this way: you say
I
that
like
you're not,
stand-up.
look, you say you say on your Mimosa Kazi, I'm not smart and all this shit. I don't want to hear that crap from you anymore because you're a very astute observer. Let's just put it that way.
I'm
Isn't it?
smart, not like everybody says. I'm
There you go.
smart. I want respect.
All right.
Hey, the chicken stand-up guys. She's pretty hot, right?
Which one? Margulies? Or the young one?
Very hot. The young one.
Addison Timlin?
Wow. Yeah, right?
The granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's attractive. Is that all we're getting out of stand-up, guys?
Let me ask you guys. I want to ask all three.
I don't
of you
have
this.
anything else to say. But
This is a poll. This is a poll. Who is the last attractive woman you've seen in a film that like made your heart race?
Oh, I can answer that. I saw it last night. I even mentioned it. I watched. My son's doing. Look, we covered Into the Wild not too long ago on the show. My son's doing a report on the book. I gave him the book to report. He had to do a report on a nonfiction book, so he read that. And I watched Into the Wild last night.
Oh.
And look, she's very young in the movie, of course.
Oh boy,
but
here we go.
But Kristen Stewart, I said to my wife, I was like, listen, if I was going to Alaska, I'd definitely take Kristen Stewart with me. I don't care if I wanted to be alone.
You like those stinky girls, don't you, Joe?
Oh, well, dude, I mean, I don't know.
Husky girl.
She was great in the On the Road movie too that just came out, which is the Kerouac.
Oh God, how did that translate? Is it based on the Kerouac novel?
Oh, I'm not a good source. I'm not a good source for this, man. I'm my head's too far up that novel's ass for me to be an objective observer of the film.
All right, let me ask you this:
I enjoyed
the
it.
film is based on Kerouac's novel.
Yeah, yup, it's based on the novel. Yeah.
Billy, have you seen it?
I have not, nor have I read the novel.
Okay. What about you, Billy, with chicks? Who's the last?
I was just thinking the girl I'm kind of obsessed with right now, which is really strange for me, is the wife on Mad Men.
Which one?
No one watching Mad Men?
January Jones?
The Draper's wife, Mrs. Draper.
Yeah, that's January Jones, right?
Is that who that is?
Jones?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think she's an amazing actress, and I'm kind of obsessed with her.
I dig the redhead a lot more on Mad Men.
Yeah, I mean
that
obviously, boom.
that is wow.
Christina Hendricks is like, I mean, she's panorama, widescreen, VistaVision, delicious. But the Mrs. Draper, I don't know why.
That's a good pick though, Billy, because she's a beautiful girl.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Hey Billy, are you getting upset about like you had Heaven Help Us recently, and then you had this one? Are you getting like miffed about getting these crappy movies to review?
I'm just beginning to wonder if it's part of Tom's inherent sadism that he's assigning these to me and being to you. I'm beginning to see Max's point of view here.
Do you think he's doing it on purpose, Tom? Or did you do this on purpose?
Joe, I can't believe you're doing this to me right now.
What is he doing to you?
I didn't do anything.
Max is doing it to you, Tom, not Joe.
Oh my God! No, I am not doing it on purpose. I'm not.
Yeah. I mean,
So Tom, what goes into when you're assigning a film? What goes into the criteria for you based on
the way I saw with this show, the way I saw it was, I knew I knew Max and Warren Beatty. I knew that was going to be a great fit, and I really wanted to give Christiana the Italian movie because he loves, Fellini and whatnot. And then there was Billy left over.
Oh, God.
Yep.
But
what do I got? What do I got left in the refrigerator door here?
But now wait.
Ketchup.
But is it fair to say you would get gold if you gave Billy Stand-Up Guys?
Yeah, but Stand-Up Guys. But here's the thing. I don't know what Stand-Up Guys is going to be. It could have been gold. It could have been Billy. Billy could have got this movie.
But we're not talking about. No one's talking about Stand-Up Guys. I mean, it came and went, and it's an unfortunate.
It's a disaster.
Misfire. Yeah.
But to see that there's that Heaven Help Us and stand-up guys, that there's a connection there is just it's
Well,
off.
I know.
But I
Billy
really
doesn't like
I love Heaven Help Us, and I really wanted to see if Billy, could,
Right.
it would enjoy it, and I was curious to see how he felt about it. That's why I gave him Heaven Help Us.
No, usually the guy who programs the shows is charged with reviewing the new release. What's going on here?
Well, I like Max's, when he did the Halloween show, I was thinking that, if you're assigning the movies, like, why, like, you shouldn't, it should go to everyone else so you could hear their take on them.
It's true.
It's better, right, Max?
It is better.
Yeah,
I want to hear
I
everyone else what they think. Who
Yeah,
gives a... I don't want to hear what I think. I want to hear what you guys think.
exactly.
I don't
And
know.
I got to tell you, I mean, listening to Billy's review of Stand Up Guys, I mean, honestly, dudes, I saw it like months ago. I rented it. I didn't, because I didn't care enough to watch it again. I'm like, all right, I've done the Stand Up Guys. I can't justify watching it a second time. But Billy instantly put me back in that film and, the thoughts. And he, I mean, listen, we all do, where I think a certain way about a film. And I'm like, wow, I was really fond of that. And then when Billy was going off on it, I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Because it's true. I guess I didn't see a lot of those things. I take for granted that we still are able to see Pacino and Walken in suits in slow motion with guns. I take for granted. Because I got to say, I saw Righteous Kill in theaters. And this is sacrilege, what I'm saying. And it has nothing to do with De Niro or Pacino. But for me,
You see how he qualifies anything he says against these guys, Tom? You don't want to.
I thought that thing was an abomination. I thought it was such a cynical cash-in. And let me tell you guys something. I'm going to watch that fucking Lost Vegas because I'm an idiot. And I love seeing these old guys get together. And it's going to be miserable. I got a text from my friend Joe. Oh my God, are you watching the cast of Lost Vegas on the Today Show? I'm like, why would I watch that? He said, because they're miserable. They've been forced to promote the movie on the Today Show.
Right.
Kevin Kline wants to kill himself. De Niro is checked out, and Morgan Freeman is sitting there with his arms crossed.
Oh God, that sounds
the only guy talking to the smiley morning hosts is Douglas,
Yeah,
and that's because he's a producer.
Yeah. Plus, he's probably trying to get laid.
But no cunnilingus ever again.
Listen to what you were saying. What you were saying there, though, Max. When you're watching a movie and you're just watching it just to whatever pass an evening or whatever, like a movie like this might just go pass by and think, oh wow, that was pretty bad. Who cares? Whatever. I forget about it instantly. But then when you're watching it for the show, you have to try to
put a laser sight on it and it's under the microscope.
Yeah, you have to try to figure out something to say about it, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with something to say, and you gotta.
But see, Max, I get the feeling, Tom and Max, you guys can still, you're fanboys of certain actors and genres and stuff like that. So, you can let pass a lot more than, like, I'm not a fanboy. When it comes to, I don't really give a shit about actors, to be honest with you. Like, there are some actors that I think are outstanding, and I try to give their movie a chance, whatever. But I don't have that nostalgia for actors, so I don't really,
I think
I don't give a
part of the film.
Yeah, and it's tough for me to trash the movie because I know there's a bunch of people who really do, man. They just want to go, it's a comfort zone. You nailed it, man. It's comfort food,
Hey, listen, let me just say this, guys. For better or worse, these fuckers are gonna be gone.
Sooner than you think.
What are we going to do? And who are we going to be fucking stuck with? Sure, we'll be stuck with Johnny Depp. Sure, we'll be
that's
stuck
the
with
next wave, the Matt Damons, the Mark Wahlbergs, those.
But I want you to imagine a world. I want you to imagine a Pacino-less world. While we're on the subject, a Beatty-less world. I just ordered the new Nicholson book. And it's so funny because I've never read a book on Kindle. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to save space. I'm going to save paper. And I'm going to get a book on Kindle. My wife, who is the premier, let's do it digitally. Let's not waste space. Let's this, let's that. She emails me back. I said, I think I'm going to get this new book on Nicholson because I want to hear about him fucking Meryl Streep on the set of Ironweed. She goes, well, why are you getting it on Kindle? I said, oh, because I'm trying to save space, and you were talking about how I have too much shit, and I'm trying to. She goes, but this is Jack. He means the world to you. He's your favorite actor. You should have it in a hardback. Then I pictured myself, because we're about to go up to the Central Coast for Thanksgiving. I pictured myself holding a book and reading about my most favorite motherfucker, reading about him fucking Streep, whether it's true or not, I don't give a shit. I want to hear about him sticking his dick inside Madonna. I want to hear about stories from the set of Cuckoo's Nest, whether or not they're true. These legendary motherfuckers and the beautiful lore they've given us, and they're going to be gone, and you're going to be stuck with Zac Efron, and that's why I stand behind. That's why I stand behind stand-up guys, because you're not going to have these guys much longer. And then what will you do? Then where will you be?
First off, Max, I really look forward to the Instagram photo your wife is going to take of you reading that book on the Central Coast. Second, you're being unfair. Like Zac Efron or whatever his name is, there's always been fucking Mickey Rooney and Frankie Avalon and all of these turds, right? It's the same. It's one turd with many names. But what about Michael Fassbender? Brilliant fucking actor. What about
he's good.
Jesus, throw some names out there. Actors who are doing amazing work right now. There's always good actors.
There's always
man.
going to be someone good. And there are a lot of great actors who have passed that we don't have any, who are brilliant in their time. You know?
I'm not going to, honestly, and this is going to sound terrible, but I'm not going to miss seeing Pacino and all those guys on the screen. They've made great movies. Let it die. Let it go. They're not my friends. I don't know them personally. I have no personal attachment to them.
They should should really take the Warren Beatty approach and just give it up already.
And there's something to be said for great actors like Cary Grant, who said, I'm not gonna continue into my twilight years making crap because of my ego. I'm gonna go out while I'm on top, and that's it.
Paul Newman. Paul Newman was a prince among.
Paul Newman was brilliant, man, and he didn't make crappy movies up until the end.
That's the key right there, Max. I mean, Paul Newman was. If he was in movies, he was in a couple, Tom, right? Paul
Newman.
Later on.
Yeah, he was in the Hudsucker Proxy,
which was friggin' great. But there was one
terrible.
Oh, you didn't like it?
What? I'm not a fan of Hudsucker.
Oh, okay.
But even in the early 2000s, he was making movies.
Wow, he did. Oh, dude, he did friggin' The Color of Money, man.
That was kind of near the end. Like I don't know if that's the end.
Even before that, man, The Verdict,
right?
That was
one of the most outstanding fucking performances. But I would consider that more his middle. That wasn't so late. 90s is
later.
Late.
Middle is like Fort Apache, The Bronx, The Verdict.
But anyway, the point holds, man. I mean, the guy wasn't just cashing in and just, you know what I mean? He was making great movies.
But why? Yeah. But
Marlon Brando,
his last Paul Newman's last major role in a movie is Road to Perdition, which is not a great movie, but he does not suck in it.
It's a gangster movie,
and it's not it's not a bad production. It's not really one of my favorite movies, but it's not shit.
Billy, that's the one. That's the Sam Mendes movie. That's based on the graphic comic, right?
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks.
I mean, I remember, you guys know I didn't just want to work with Christopher. You sit here with your brain.
He's got a point there too. But why?
Maybe I'm at a point to have some fun. Why can't I have fun? And either in the spirit of Gomorrah, you're either with me or against me.
But why would fun be making bad movies?
I mean, that is a point though, because
he didn't think it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of that, Max does have a point there. I mean, the guy's just not taking himself so seriously, so there's two sides. There's two sides of every coin, I guess. You know.
I went and saw. My wife goes, "Hey, you want to go see the Sunshine Boys?" And I'm like, "With Matthau and Burns?" She goes, "No, with DeVito and Hirsch, Judd Hirsch and Danny DeVito." Wow. I said, "Well, why would I want to go see that?" And I started to think about, wow, you mean I could actually go and watch Danny DeVito on stage fuck around with Judd Hirsch in a theater?
Probably pretty good, right?
With a stupid Neil Simon play? I said, please tell me that there's teleprompters, because there's no way those two old maniacs are going to memorize all those lines. Dudes, I went. We got down there early. I had some wine. Of course. DeVito's drinking limoncellos backstage. You know he is. I get in that theater. It's nice. It's cool. There's a bunch of old farts. You can smell the age. And all of a sudden, DeVito comes out, and this little teeny turkey is standing there 3 feet yay high, killing me. And he's a little shit, and he's dealing with his obnoxious agent nephew who's played by a kid from The Hangover. Next thing you know, Hirsch is on stage, and they're arguing. And their timing and their professionalism and the fun that those two fuckers were having just playing together was a joy to behold. I wound up loving the show. I actually got very moved by it. But see, I guess I can be very sycophantic about those dudes. Not so much DeVito and Hirsch, but like, if you're going to give me, I mean, I see everything Pacino does. And I get mad and mad and mad and mad and mad and mad and mad. And I'm waiting for his great redemption. And it may never come.
Yeah, but as an actor too, I mean, it's great that you can go and do that because you're studying your craft, or you're a fan of the craft itself, which is a little bit different than being a movie fan. You know what I'm saying by that? Like you get off on seeing an actor's work and what they're doing because you're interested in to me, I'm interested more in the work of a director. And interested, even if it's later in their career or it's not their best movie, I still look and find things that are interesting because I'm studying, like I'm interested in the craft, just the same way that you're.
Yeah, but you know what, you guys, you make movies and you direct movies and you talk about how you're not into actors. I think you need to change that. I think you need to be more into actors. You guys are photographers. You guys are filmmakers and directors and writers. I think you need to love actors more because these are the people who are making your shit wonderful. There's no way you're going to tell me these films, Joe and Billy, that you've made together that you haven't loved. Who's that Australian fucker that's
hold on. Yeah. Max, I'm gonna push back on that one a little bit here. I friggin' adore acting, and there's nothing I love more than the magic of what an actor does. It's alchemical. It's insane. And I love certain actors. I wish I could think of examples here, but there's some instances of a couple of actors getting together and just a subtle interplay, just an effortlessness that takes decades to polish. It really is like a fine wine, right? And my point about something like Stand Up Guys is that's not the movie. I want to see Walken and Pacino and Arkin. I love Alan Arkin. I want to see those guys in a good movie that lets them. But in all seriousness, those three guys sitting around having lunch is going to be more interesting and rewarding than Stand Up Guys. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. I want to see the interaction with them. So, yeah, just because I'm not nostalgic over swaths of acting history doesn't mean anything. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
You all break my heart.
Al, why are you saying that?
Because they're hurting me.
Al, they're not hurting you. They're very intelligent guys. They love you. They just don't want to see you doing shit.
I don't think it's shit. I thought it was fun.
It is fun for you, but you have to think about your audience. They want you to take something seriously. They want you to just
take it seriously.
No, okay, but you did have a boner in the hospital bed.
I thought that was a funny gag.
It's a funny gag, okay? No, who doesn't want to see you with a boner? But my point is, man, if you go deep one more time before you leave us. If you go deep one more time, I think you have it in you.
I think that I don't.
Oh, I tried, guys.
This has been the Cutting Room Movie Podcast's review of 2012 Stand Up Guys. Up next is Bugsy, Barry Levinson. You gotta love him. Warren Beatty, Annette Bening, Harvey Keitel, Elliot Gould. Mr. Max Cook is going to give us the introduction as we move on with our theme of gangster films. Max, do it, brother.